John chapter 10 paints a beautiful picture of relationship and trust, the kind that defines God's kingdom by design. Now, Jesus calls himself the Good Shepherd, and his people, the sheep, who recognize his voice. And Jesus begins by saying, "Anyone who does not enter by the gate, but climbs in some other way is a thief and a robber," unquote. Now, under God's life-giving design law, this truth means that love are the only legitimate ways to reach the human heart. Coercion, manipulation, fear, threatening, punishment are not of God. They violate the law of liberty. And real connection is built on trust, and trust can never be forced. And Jesus continues, "I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved." Now, in other words, he is the pathway to safety and life. Not by a legal requirement, but because he alone restores us back into harmony with the source of life, who is God. And through Jesus, we find healing, we find freedom, and we find rest. Anything that draws us away from Jesus' character of love only leads to destruction. Then Jesus gives one of the most defining statements of his mission. I quote, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy, but I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly," unquote. This explains God's life design laws perfectly. You see, God's purpose is to give us life in overflowing measure. Sin, selfishness, fear, and lies naturally destroy, but love alone would restore, love alone would build, and it will sustain. And when Jesus says, "I am the good shepherd, I lay down my life for the sheep," unquote, Jesus here reveals how love operates under God's life-giving design. God doesn't demand sacrifice. He is the sacrifice. He willingly lay his life down to destroy fear and destroy sin and win back our trust. The Good Shepherd doesn't save us by appeasing an angry God, but by removing the infection of sin, the distrust that separates us from him, the God of love and the God of life. Now, Jesus also speaks of the other sheep out of his fold, showing that his love is universal. Wherever hearts respond to his truth and his love, they belong to Christ. Under life-giving law, God's family isn't defined by membership or denominations or labels, but by character, by whether his principles of love are written in their hearts. So, John chapter 10 reveals God's kingdom as a community of trust, love, and freedom. Jesus is the shepherd who calls us by name, leads us to safety, and lays down his life to bring us home. So the key verse for today is John 10:10. "I have come that they may have life and have it more abundantly," unquote. Now, because under God's life-giving design law, the goal isn't control, it is restoration. The Good Shepherd doesn't drive his sheep with fear, he wins them over with love, and the sheep follows naturally. Amen.